Okay, a little bit, I wanted to do this live stream outside and it was like been calm all day, and then I walk outside and it's blowing a gale and I'm like, come on, I was gonna live stream out here. So whatever's. Got an interesting topic to talk about today. The topic, if you didn't already see it in the live stream, is that feeling. It's kind of an interesting topic, right? That feeling of being watched even when nobody's around, but nobody's around. That feeling when someone is watching you but nobody is around. And technological veils are thinning. Do you feel like you are in a video game? Something quite important that I want to talk about, because I've been feeling this and someone actually even mentioned it to me and I'm like, yeah. And I feel with these eclipse energies, it's even stronger. And I just wanted to speak to this for a bit. So Nellie says says this to her partner all the time. So there's a few different avenues that I want to speak to about, you know, when it feels like you're being watched but nobody is around, because we're going to talk about it on a technological thing, like we're being watched, literally. But even if you don't have devices around and that feeling is still there, that you still like you feel like you're being watched, I really want to speak to this, yeah? So as always, I'll just share this live stream and then I shall be present with it as well. So while you're waiting for me to share it, if you want to let me know if you felt like that before. I know Natalie had said that she speaks to her husband about this all the time, or says that to her husband all the time. And if you guys have ever felt it before. So I'm just gonna check. Yep. So just making sure I'm sharing it in the correct place, and then I shall be present as always. And one more place. If I can remember how to do it. It's not like I haven't done it for 5 years or something. Oh dear. Well, I've been online for 5.5 years now. Doing this thing. Come on. Thank you. I think I shared the right thing. Okay. Yes. Okay, now, first of all, okay, getting there. Yeah, awesome comments coming up about this. I'll really want to speak to this. It's really important. A very important topic. Yes, lots of birds. Sometimes they're so loud. Sometimes they're really loud. It doesn't help that the walls are wooden and paper thin. These old Queenslanders. So loud. So I'm just gonna post this in the comments here. So just before I jump into what we're talking about today, Trust Intuition investment increases next week. So this time next week, it's going to increase. And we have our reconfiguring energetic codes coming up in the first 2 weeks, well, roughly the first 2 weeks of December, which is our, just after the eclipse. And I'm holding the total solar eclipse new moon ceremony live on this page, and that's free. So you just have to like Reality Awareness and make sure you set reminders in your phone of the dates and times. So I've shared that. I'll share it again on my page today as well. All the dates and times about that. So I'm a little bit excited. I'm a little bit nervous actually to do the full moon. Well, it's not a full moon. It's a new moon ceremony live. So it's a total solar eclipse. And I'll be going live on my Facebook page about that. So really, really excited about that. And then Trust Intuition is increasing. So I've just pinned the comment to the top because Facebook's changing everything and I can't seem to post it in unless I like manually type the thing in for some reason, because, you know, there's all these upgrades and, you know, we're doing it for your greater good and stuff, you know. Oh, it's funny when people say that sort of stuff. Anyway. All right, so just bear with me while I see about something in my eye as well. I'm almost there. I know some people get a little bit impatient because what is she blabbing on about? And why can't I just get to the point? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting there. Like, if it's too much for you, just find someone else to listen to. Why would you continue watching things you do not like? That really, I don't know, every time I'm like, why do you keep watching things that you don't like? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. Like, come on. Okay. So, all right. So is it Kajit? I'm not sure how I pronounce that name. The veil is thinning. Light workers prepare for a pushback from the ones who don't want us awake. Yes. Thank you for sharing this, because this is the topic I want to dive into. It's very potent at this time with the eclipses right now, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. But also the technological veil is thinning. So there's the spirit world thinning and the technological veil thinning, and that's why I put at the title of this live stream, do you feel like you're in a video game? And I want to talk about this like pixelated reality, and yeah. So let me dive into this and what I want to share about this. I'm just gonna check these comments here about this. Susie says, or someone that is thinking of you and you don't know who it is. Yeah, for sure. But how would we also know that in a way? Corey says she's used to it. Yeah, it's interesting, right? We get used to these things, and is that the right thing? Well, what's right, wrong, whatever. Gary says, my house was invaded by spirits the other night. They're always around, but sometimes it intensifies. Yeah, and it's good to know this, and this is obviously what I teach in Trust Intuition as well, but it's also the point of knowing what's going on globally, cosmically, earth-wise, like, you know, keep an eye on the weather, the geomagnetic storms, the solar flares, you know, what's astrologically happening, eclipses, full moons, new moons. You know, like, you don't have to be anal about it, okay? But maybe you do while you're learning that stuff. And then, you know, and then it's just part of your reality to be aware of this sort of stuff, yeah? And my Reality Awareness support group on Facebook. So if you're not in there, that is my free Facebook support group. So if you type in the Facebook search bar Reality Awareness support group, and it'll come up. You know, that group is, so, you know, if you are feeling something or you're not sure or you need support, you can post in that group, and myself and my team and all the other beautiful souls that feel called to will reply. But it's also like, this energy is going on. Are you guys feeling this, or is it just me? Because it's good to know that we're not alone in these instances, yeah, because we're not. And sometimes it feels like we're going crazy, but we just feel freaking everything. Yeah, we feel everything. And so when you say, like, my house is invaded by spirits, but sometimes it intensifies, like they're all around, but sometimes it intensifies. And I'm like, yeah, because this is the eclipses. We're like, what's today? We're kind of like right in the midpoint between the lunar eclipse and the total solar eclipse. So it's really good to just know what's going on, you know, energetically, yeah? Okay, so you missed the question. So do you feel like you're in a video game? Is basically the question. So Natalie says, we set up a camera and caught some things that cannot be explained at all. Yeah, it's very interesting, yeah, that these, you know, like there's spirits around, like, you know, so hang on, I'll just check these comments and then I'll go into what I'm gonna share. So Al says, what did you say? Fuck Facebook, basically, I think. I really love Facebook. I know people hate on it. I wouldn't be able to connect with you guys without it. You know, just like every platform, just like every culture has good and bad, so does that. It's like what we focus on and what we bring out of it. I personally love it because I wouldn't be where I am today and connecting with you guys and supporting consciousness of humanity awakening without it. There's definitely dark sides to it, just like everything. But when you know how to work the dark side for the light, take a different take on it, yeah? Okay. So Susie says, how come I can't feel what you talk about? Awesome question. Because sometimes we don't feel. Sometimes some of us are highly clairsentient and we feel everything. Sometimes you just know things. I just knew that was going to happen. Oh, I knew that. Like, don't you get it? This is knowing, yeah? This is your 4 spiritual organs. There's more spiritual organs, but your 4 basic spiritual organs, it makes up your intuition, is your claircognizance, your clairvoyance. Maybe you have dreams or you see visions. Sometimes people think that clairvoyance just see ghosts there. Well, they kind of do, but not always. Sometimes you're seeing, that bird's really loud, right? Making sure that you guys can hear it and pay attention on the live stream or something. I don't know, it seems really loud. Oh, because my clairaudience, is it really loud or is it just me because it seems really loud? I don't know, because we're about to talk about clairaudience and hearing the messages, right? Hearing the messages of spirit. So clairvoyance is being able to see things, visions, dreams, seeing angel numbers everywhere. Everyone's like, I'm not clairvoyant, I don't see spirits. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that you see angel numbers everywhere and 111 and 222. And then you're like, what are these numbers? I'm like, your clairvoyance is speaking to you, like you're highly clairvoyant if you see messages in reality, yeah? So the bird, okay, the bird was really loud because your clairaudience is hearing spirit. So that is a prime example of hearing spirit. So it's then like, you know, this is, I don't know, we're tapping into a intuitive understanding of receiving and interpreting your intuition, which is really important when we're distinguishing reality from spirit world, when we're distinguishing reality from virtual spirit world. I don't even know if it is spirit. It's a virtual world, like the pixelated video game world, okay? Understanding how your intuition talks to you is so important when we're deciphering, is there a ghost? Is there someone here who's watching me but no one's here? Like, this is really important. So now I hear the reason why we're talking about this. So you might hear your intuition or, you know, again, the same thing, seeing angel numbers everywhere, right? You might think that you're not clairvoyant, but the reality is that you just saw an angel number, and so you're now trying to like research, what does that mean? Like you're hearing your intuition, you're listening to it, you're seeing your intuition, it's speaking to you. The trick and the key is interpreting and understanding the language of your intuition and how it speaks to you, plus the basics in understanding how intuition even works. This is what I teach in Trust Your Intuition, Investment Increases next week, okay? So the link is in the comments. I've pinned it in the comments. You guys have seen a post on my page. Send me a message if you've got any questions about it, or if you've got questions about Trust Intuition, ask on the live stream here as well. So you're hearing, okay, that bird that was so loud interrupted, okay, for a reason, or we just wouldn't have even heard it like the other birds, or the cricket or whatever that is out there. That bird was really loud. Why? Because it was a message. Like I had to stop and talk and bring awareness to it. So then it's like, well, what the hell was the bird saying? Well, that's where interpreting the next stage of your intuition comes into play. So there's like different levels of understanding your intuition. Like it's literally a language, okay? So, you know, for me personally, interpreting birds, so birds are deeply connected to the heart chakra. Birds are deeply connected to the spirit world, and birds are deeply connected to, you know, like the awakening of the heart, if you may. And so it's really interesting, and the ears and the heart and the base chakra are deeply interconnected. So what was the bird saying? Well, I don't know. Is it giving us a message about the heart and staying connected to the heart when we're venturing into virtual reality worlds? That's just like the pixelated thing that opens up, you know, like the portal, just the pixel portal opens up right there, and you're just like, what the hell is that? Like literally movie stuff, right? And we're going to talk further about this in this live stream, because this is the purpose of this live stream. So I'll come back to the pixel portal that opens up just randomly in your room right here. Like, are you in a video game? Like, we're going to come back to that. It's important, okay? Because I feel as we move through the next few years and the technological advancements and everyone having, a lot of people on the planet having technology in their body, there's a technological energy that's creating a whole different energy on the planet right now. That's really what I want to talk about, okay? So last thing though, the feeling. So we have claircognizance, we know stuff, we see stuff, we hear stuff. The feeling is your heart, but also your whole body. It's your gut feeling. You know, it's like, oh, I had a feeling about that. It's your gut feeling. People know that, you know, so not everybody, I'm going to say everybody has all of these organs. 100% we do, okay? We all have them, but we're usually strongest in one or two of them, yeah? And in one or two of them, that becomes our main port of call, yeah? It's like trusting, you know, you have those out of the blue ideas, yeah? So Susie, when you say, how come I can't feel what you all talk about? Because you might just know things and that's your strongest. It doesn't mean that you feel, it's that you're not trained to feel it. You're not conscious enough of the feeling. And in Trust Intuition, we work on strengthening all of them and understanding all of them and connecting all of them and repairing all of them and pulling the past life trauma out of them and blah, blah, blah. Like we do the whole thing, okay, in Trust Intuition, because they are the basis for you trusting your intuition, understanding the language your intuition speaks to you, which is individual and unique to each person, okay? And that's a whole nother learning in itself. So again, we go into lots of things in Trust Intuition. So just really wanted to answer that question. It's a really important one, especially with what we're talking about on this live stream and deciphering the video game world that's pixel portals opening up and the technological veil is thinning. Everybody knows about the spirit veil thinning. Like, yeah, the spirit veil is thinning and we all feel it. And the spirit veil is, you know, like we feel ghosts or like Gary had said, oh, hang on, just seeing the comment. My house was invaded by spirits the other night. They are always around, but sometimes it intensifies because on things like Halloween or these sort of darker energies, even a dark moon, new moon cycle, which happens every month, the veil can be thin like that at certain points in times, at eclipses, at other, you know, veil points, equinoxes, you know, solstice and all of those points. The veil is thin and a lot of people know about and feel that the spirits around more or there's more psychic attacks then or whatever the story is, yeah? However, what I've been speaking with clients over the past few days and then someone else messaged me about it and I'm like, I need to speak about this because as I was tuning into it, it's very much like, and just talking to a client about it this morning, the rest of the messages dropped in and I was like, well, everybody knows the spirit world. That is a realm. Okay, that is a realm, and at the end of the day, like we live in a multi-dimensional universe with multifaceted aspects of ourself and every other person. Like that's the reality. The reality is not just this bricks and mortar that we see here. Everybody knows that we can astral travel, and when we dream and when we go to sleep, well, where do we actually go, right? Our soul doesn't sleep. Right, and sometimes we wake up and we're like, wow, that dream, I'm like even tireder than when I went to sleep. Like, well, we work in our sleep, etc., etc. Really important to know that you can choose to do that or not, and you can say, soul, I need to sleep and recover tonight. Like let's sleep. You can choose and ask your soul to stay whilst you repair the human physical body. Okay, rest, it's so important. So the point is that we know that there's a spirit world, right? And we know that there's a 3D physical world that we're in. We know that there's a soul, and we know that there's a consciousness, and we know that there's something greater than us that everybody has a different label for, whether it's God or the all or the universe or that thing that we can't put a label on, but we can all sense it. There is something that connects us all because we all know that a soul is what keeps the body alive. The consciousness is what keeps the body alive. As soon as that consciousness departs the body in whichever way, shape or form, that body dies. But the soul doesn't. The consciousness doesn't. Yeah, everybody knows that, okay? Even if they don't technically know, they're like, yeah, that's true, yeah? The person is dead, confirmed dead when there's no more consciousness there, okay? The consciousness is what keeps the body alive. So when we look at this point of the technological veil thinning, it's only something that I feel has happened recently. And I was sharing on that Travis Scott video that I did the other week, live stream I did the other week, that reality is changing. And it is. Time is different. People feel like there's not enough time. You know, like all of a sudden it's freaking 3 o'clock again, or it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, how is this just, where's the day going? Like, yes, we completely create time and we get to choose how time works for us, and we can collapse timelines, and we work time, and I choose how much time I have in the day, and I can create a reality that I get everything done, and like we can use affirmations and create that for sure, like 100%. But alongside that, time is also different. Time has changed in its own accordance of whatever that is, right? There is massive, huge astrological shifts going on. So, you know, like things are being affected. So the technological advancement is going to happen more and more rapidly over the next 5 to 10 years. People are already seeing it. The technological veil thinning, like I said, when I was speaking to a client this morning, I've been speaking to clients about it all week and people all week. And then this morning it dropped in. I was like, right, I need to live stream about this, because the point here is what dropped in this morning that put it all together. I was like, and people have been injected with nanotechnology, whether you like to believe that or not. It's a thing. It's called graphene oxide. You can look it up. It's nanotechnology. It's blatantly, obviously, in films. Travelers, in the Netflix show Travelers, they use nanotechnology to, a man was in a plane accident in the show, and he would have been dead. All of his insides were completely broken, organs and all. And there was a scene where they like run in and like he's just in this sort of sealed off area. And the guy runs in and he's like, why aren't there doctors around helping him? There should be 10 doctors around. And the nurse thing is like, the nanotech is doing the work. And they're like back on the programming thing, making sure it's like beeping and doing all, like the nanotech is putting this body back together that should be like dead, right? Nanotech it's nano, you can't freaking see it, okay? So whether you like to believe that or not, that's a thing. Now, if you can just fathom what I just said about the nanotech is repairing his organs that shouldn't have survived, okay? And there's no doctor. So there's doctors, I don't know, are they even going to be a thing in the future? Anyway, maybe a technological doctor. If you want to survive or thrive in the coming eras, learn technology. Just saying. Anyway, you get left behind if you don't. It's already what iPhone is updated in 10 minutes, whatever. I don't have to go into that. You get the point. The thing is that I'm sharing about the doctor, and I'll check the comments in a moment because they're important, but I just need to get this message out first. So that man that was supposed to be dead, and the nanotech is fixing up his organs. Like, and they're back on, you know, programming the tech. You have to wonder, okay? You know, like, and they even show you that, you know, it looks like a, you know, in like the, I don't know, it's like a clear, thin, round thing, and they put it under microscopes, you know, those, I don't know, containers in the science labs, okay? It's not my realm, okay? You know, the little containers I'm talking about, and they put it under the microscope and they look at things, right? The little plastic container, right? They show you on the show that it looks like, I want to say it almost looks like a jellyfish. I can't really describe it. It looks like a magnetic thing. You know, the kids' magnetic sand, kinetic sand. Do you guys have that in Australia? It got released lately, right? It's a kinetic sand, and it's like the sand is magnetic, and it's freaking awesome to play with. But the kinetic sand, I imagine, has got something like that in it. I don't know. And so the nanotech looks like that, okay? And it moves like that. And they show you when they sucked it up a needle and they inserted it into the guy in the hospital bed, and then they went over to the computer and they programmed the nanotech what to do. You have to wonder how that nanotech in the person's body that's moving around the blood and all the atoms and stuff is communicating with the computer system. How would it be doing that? How do we send a Bluetooth photo or airdrop it to my computer? How do we do that? Some sort of radio frequency signal. Like that's what it is. Like, it's some sort of radio frequency signal, okay? And you have to wonder and understand and think about all the people who have now been injected with this, okay? And the energy that it creates in itself. Yeah, and the energy that it creates to transmit data, basically. Right? Now, again, some people don't want to believe this, okay? And that's fine. Like, you know that I'm about trusting your intuition over anything that I say, over anything that you read, over anything that you watch. Friggin' trust yourself. I'm not trying to convince you here. I'm just sharing a message that came through that I've been speaking about clients, and as always, I share whatever I do. If you don't like it, you can just get off my page, because why would you keep watching something you do not like? I will check comments soon. The point that I'm sharing about the technological veil is thinning. Do you feel like you're in a video game? Are you having trouble distinguishing reality from technology? Like, does it seem like it's all just one big video game? Like, I don't know. I'm not really a video gamer, but I have played video games in the past. Played Minecraft with my daughter. The first couple of times that played it with her, like, I don't know, we did it like, I think a 2-hour special time stint, and I came away looking at the world like pixels. And it was kind of a joke for a while. Like, you know, we'd be driving, and I don't know, when we went on our road trip last year and we were out in the desert, in the outback desert, and it was like, it looks like a pixelated Minecraft cactus thing. Like, and we're like, you know, but the reality of the imprints, and these imprints is what I've been talking about on the Travis Scott thing, right? Is it's being imprinted. But you have to question why the veil, normal reality starts to feel like a video game. And when you understand the concept of the nanotechnology and the wireless transfer of data between a Bluetooth phone and a Bluetooth car setup or anything, right? Headphones, there's so much, right? And there's so much more that they're only giving us a tiny 1% of the 1% of 1%, actually, right? You have to realize the concept of how many people on the planet have now got this in their system, and how that has not only changed their energy, but if that many people as a collective have that energy, and it's creating a collective energy of a frequency of a bubble of a thing, you have to ask how that's affecting people who we are also very sensitive to technology, to anything in general, right? And this is why I always harp on about clearing your energy, knowing your intuition, like clearing out the trauma, clearing your body, cleaning your body, like meditating, doing yoga, like all the things. There's so many personal development routes you can take, okay? Trust intuition is one of them. There's heaps on the planet, right? You need to find what works for you. Again, trust your intuition, okay? The point is that now more than ever, these practices of connecting your soul and being conscious of your soul and your intuition and what that language is that it speaks to you, and understanding that inside out and back to front and all the things, is now more than ever so damn important because of what we're walking into in the future. And I mentioned this on the Travis Scott video, I'm pretty sure, okay? Because if there is a frequency of people that are, you know, now have the thing in their body, and by the way, if you have it, remember, I don't judge you, okay? Some people needed to do it for work. Some people didn't want to. Some people have been tricked into it, all the freaking things, okay? There's ways to detox it out of your body. Please send me a message if that's for you. Like, there's nothing, like I fully believe that anybody can heal from anything, and I fully believe that anybody can get it out of their system if they override it, because it's a programmable technology. Like, I fully believe that, but you have to have the correct person to guide you through that. I've never done it before. I fully believe that I can. I fully believe that intuitively I'm guided in that way because of the messages and all the pieces that I get shown. Like, I fully believe that. Please send me a message if you want the detox. It's so important to understand that you can do anything, okay? But you have to believe that within yourself. I'm a healer. I'm an intuitive healer and life purpose mentor. That's what I do. I live it. I've done it since 2005. It's a long time. Worked with many clients. I've done many different things over the years with it all. The thing is that person that you're healing, right? I don't actually heal them, by the way. The person you're working with has to have that solid belief as well, or that it just won't work, okay? That goes for the same with the programmable technology that people are now walking around with that. Now, by the way, little short piece this second in time is that if you already have it in your system, the most powerful thing you can do is commit to a dedicated meditation routine that is like, your intention is to override it. shut it off. Like, it's a technology. We just turn Bluetooth off right now. Okay? So important. Okay, so there's lots of comments coming through. I really want to scan through and talk to them. So just this part of the message, right? The technological veil is thinning. The differentiation between the spirit world and the technological world, I feel, is because of the technological radio signals walking around everywhere and the amount of them now, if you may, okay? And by the way, like, if I had it and I would be finding out this information, I'd be pretty devastated, to be honest. So if that is you, please make sure you let yourself have a massive cry. I'm just letting my cat in so he doesn't sit there banging at the door. Like, let yourself have a massive cry, because the stuff that is going on is, you know, it's freaking massive what everyone's finding out, okay? Spiritual awakenings are not what they're cracked up to be. Crying is healing. We release stress hormone, the stress hormone cortisol, from our tears, just like when we go to the toilet and we, you know, do a poo and a wee, whatever the proper words are. It releases certain things from our body that, if we were to hold on to them, would make us sick. Stress hormone cortisol is released from the tears. It's properly chemically healing, okay? Okay, so that feeling of someone watching you and nobody is there. Nobody is there, which was the full title of my live stream. So number one, I haven't even really talked to my daughter about this stuff, like, well, I didn't at the time. And I walked into her room at one point, and she's, you know, on her laptop, and she's got a tissue and a peg from the clothesline, a peg, and the tissue is over the camera on the computer. I'm touching my computer right now, and it's over there with a peg sitting on top. So she's like, you know, got the, like that, and she's working on her laptop. She literally covered the camera. I didn't say anything. I was like, do you feel like someone's watching you at times? She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I do too, actually. So even just I'm working away, and then just sometimes I feel it more, that, like, you can feel it. You can feel when somebody is freaking watching you. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to shove that over the camera. And it's all the time. Now, another little side note, you know, I think I said on my live stream, on the Travis Scott live stream, that, you know, people worried about data being taken and privacy and stuff. And I'm like, it's a little bit late. When you signed up to Facebook 10 or 12 years ago and it first came out, it's a bit late. I know it sounds bad and negative. Bear with me, because I'm all about healing it from the inside out, okay? Awakening from the inside out, whatever. At the same time, it's like a little bit late. The thing where people are like, I'm shifting platforms, and fuck Facebook, and fuck all these like platforms that are listening in. I'm going to a more encrypted service like Telegram or whatever the fuck it is, BitChute or something. I'm sorry, I'm laughing about this because I find it fucking hilarious, because I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. Hang on a sec. But Siri's listening? Siri's not connected to Facebook. Like, Siri is. But if you get off Facebook and then you're talking on Telegram or a more encrypted service that's like private, Siri's still listening? It makes me laugh. It kind of makes me laugh, because I'm like, am I the only person thinking about this? Because Siri's always listening, right? So if you're like worried about shit, I'm like, just can't even be on any device, in my opinion, right? So when we, you know, think about somebody's watching, but there's nobody there, it's a distinct feeling. We can feel it at times. We need to really understand the difference between the spirit world and the technological world. I'm just going to call it that, because the technological world is different to the spirit world, okay? The technological world is different to the ghosts walking around, the ghosts and the souls that are trapped, you know, in between worlds. Like, it's different, okay? So the same thing is like learning to strengthen your intuition, understanding all the different realms, okay, which is infinite. Nobody can, you know, and it's always evolving and growing and shifting and changing. Like, look what I'm moving into, right? And it's like understanding your intuition, and the languages are the basic keys. Again, I teach this in Trust Intuition, and then there's all the advanced stuff, okay? This is so important for humans moving forward to understand and know and be so clear about in themselves, let alone trust themselves with the information they receive, okay? All what Trust Intuition is about. Link is in the comments. You can find it on my website, find it on my Facebook page. The investment increases next week. We start next February 22nd of the 2nd, 2022. Casting spells with language, all of that, okay? And this is why we can journal and create our reality into reality. And there's all these different aspects. Everything, every word we speak is a spell, okay? So yes, I'm a witch, because so are you, because you freaking ask for a coffee to be delivered. Like, come on now, it's a spell, like magic, it turns up, like, hello. There's nothing scary about it. So when we're looking at, we feel someone watching us and nobody's there, the first thing you want to do, is it spirit, is it technological, or is it something else? Now, I know I've only spoken about spirit world and technological. Well, what's this something else, Hannah? And I'm like, well, we live in a multi-dimensional universe with a multifaceted aspect that, like, it's got to be trust your intuition with what you're receiving, and then have the tools and the skills and the knowledge to know what to do with it. Because the thing is that people open up their psychic skills and their psychic development, and then they shut it down again because they start sensing spirits and other things, because that's what happens when you train and, you know, work on your skills you're probably already aware of anyway, okay? When you start sensing those things, then you need to know what to do with them. Okay, there's spirits walking around in my house. What do I do with that? Okay, there's this technological thing. What the hell do I do with that? Okay, there's this draconian being, or there's this dark devil thing, or there's this Satan turns up, or like, what do you do with that? Okay, so understanding what to do with those things, why it's turned up, what do you, like, all of those things, again, deep in trust or intuition, all of these pieces, okay? So that somebody's watching you and nobody's there. When I was driving, like I've felt it at times with the cameras, audios. If I want to have a private conversation, we leave all technology in the house and we go for a walk in the bush. Like, no joke. No joke. No technology whatsoever. No Bluetooth keys, no nothing. Because everybody's listening. I've been on live streams before, and like Siri starts talking, or Siri's in the next room, and I'm like, I never fucking said anything. Like, I said something, but no, Siri, I'm not talking to you. Hey, Siri. Siri's always listening unless you turn it off, and then I still don't know that it's properly turned off. Because is it? All right, so a couple more things on the somebody's watching. So number one, obviously cameras, okay? Also the, you know, microphones. Also, if we're using things like VPNs and private servers and stuff like that, isn't Siri still listening? It's connected to iPhone. It's connected to the phones. It's not connected to a server, technically. It's the phone itself, right? Apparently, well, I don't know actually. iPhones, I don't know, whatever. I don't know all the details. I do and I don't. Okay, so number one with the technological stuff, cameras, even on TV, so like smart TVs and stuff like that. Cameras. So when I've got a TV, I don't have a TV at the moment. When I used to have a TV, I used to have like a big, this is my cleaning cloth thing. But I used to have a beautiful sarong scarf thing, big sarong. And when I was not watching TV, it would live on the TV. And it was just like covered it all up. Energetically, really good thing to do. Or if you've got a cupboard, shut it in the cupboard. Energetically, it's really good to do. So the other thing that I want to share about somebody watching you and you can feel it and nobody's there, okay? Because even if you don't have technology or anything, and like I said, you're out and go in the bush and you don't have any technology, sometimes you can still feel it. Now, this might feel a little bit scary, what I'm about to say, right? But I'm wondering if it's happened to anyone else before. So sometimes, so last year, last year when I went on my big 5-month road trip and we were out in the middle of nowhere. Like literally, you guys know how big Australia is. There's nothing for miles when you get out in the middle of it. It was like, I think 8 hours between 8-hour drive at 110 an hour, sometimes more, 110 like kilometers an hour for 8 hours. That's a massive stretch of nothingness. And then there are only small towns. Okay. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there but cattle stations and road and animals and dead animals, okay? We stopped at one of the side, pull off, toilet stops, picnic stop. It's just desert. It's fucking hot, really hot. And I was, fixing up the dogs in the car and getting them water and stuff. And I could feel someone watching me. Now, sure, we're in a picnic stop. You might be like, oh, there's a camera there, Hannah. And I'm like, if there was, you couldn't see it. And to be honest, it felt like a satellite watching me. Now, I know that this might sound a little bit crazy, but this isn't the first time that I've felt such a significant satellite style connection watching me. And it was, and we'd driven that road a few times because of my missing cat. I did some big drives. If you were following me last year, you'll know all about it. And it felt like someone was watching me and I could feel it. It was so distinct. It was like, it was coming from up there. Like, and so this is the thing about understanding your intuition and the language. So what I teach in Trust Intuition is being able to follow threads, okay? You're feeling somebody's energy. Is this me? Is this not? Where's it coming from? You follow the thread, okay? When you have a spatial awareness of your energy, and this is again why I always say, have you cleared your energy? Do you use my internal compass? Do you use my chakra clearing? Like these things in the free meditation pack are there for a reason because they are the basis of how you get clear intuition. You have to know your own energy, body, and language of your intuition before you can start being clear about where it's coming from and blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe vice versa, but there's no right or wrong. Generally. You have to come in on the door, boo. It's just meowing out there, but that door's open, so I'm not walking and opening it right now. So I could feel that it was coming from up, not directly above, sort of just on an angle. Whether that makes a difference, who knows? Will I ever know that truth? No. But it was so distinct, I had to look around and just make sure there wasn't any cars. It's the middle of fucking nowhere. It's hot, like, was there somebody hiding in the bush? I mean, like, we're talking about an Australian outback. It's freaking desert. There's nothing out there. Like, maybe, who knows? At the same time, I was like, okay, it's time to go. I could just feel it. Now, the second time that that's happened to me is when I moved into this property. And so I'm on 250 acres and I've started my veggie garden. Well, it's going along pretty well now outside. And I didn't have any phones on me, didn't have any technology, it was like when I go in the garden, I like to just leave it inside so I can have a break. So, and I was tending to my veggie garden, and honestly, like straight up, you guys have seen my view, right? It's just like all the sort of green rolling hills and just, watering the garden and just straight up there. It was literally like open. And do you know what it reminded me of? On Men in Black, the movie Men in Black, and the old guy retires or is about to retire and he's like looking on the computer through a satellite of his wife in the garden. That was the sort of feeling it reminded me of. I know I'm like, you might think I'm crazy. No worries, whatever's. I trust what I feel. It reminded me of that and I was like, well, this stuff is real. I'm like, but who's watching me and why? It was just interesting. And as soon as I looked up, it disappeared. Now, I'm sharing this because I've had 3 experiences of, maybe it's the 2, whatever. It would have been 2017 when I first experienced my very first pixel portal. I was holding a full moon ceremony. I could probably dig it up and find it. A full moon ceremony down by the river, lake, canal that I used to live down near Watala in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast, and holding the full moon ceremony out there because that's where I was guided to hold it. And literally, like a pixel portal opened up in front. Like, I was on camera. You couldn't see it because it was there. The camera was there, but I could feel it. I could see it. And literally, like on the movies, I don't know if I've seen a movie like that actually, but it's literally like just in reality, like just here, a pixel portal to another dimension will open just there, like in the reality, right? And it literally opened, and this, I guess it looked like, I don't know if it's like Palladian, it was like a white star being, I call them, but if you want to, you know, it was like the white silver ones, not grey, the whitey platinum white ones, right? Pulled out, and then we continued the ceremony, and they joined us, or like it was like a joint ceremony. Like I could probably pull up the live stream, like I said, it's there. That was the first experience of a pixel portal. Probably about 3 to 4 months later, I was with a guy and his mum passed away, and I knew the moment she left because she visited me, and then she flew up to the stars, and the pixel portal, like the one here, I saw it. So it wasn't like I fully saw like a ghost there. When she passed away, I fucking saw it with my bare eyes. Like the purple pixel, it was purple pixel opened up in the night sky. It was nighttime. I was sitting outside because I was waiting for him to contact me, but I knew when she left. He's like, she passed. I'm like, I know, she just visited and left through a pixel portal that I'm still reeling from. Like, for real. And I'm sharing this because that's an experience that I've had. And over the years, so that was in 2017, and then in 2018, I've worked more consciously with the Star Being Guides, the Clairsentient Sponge Clearing, and the Meet Your Star Being Guide is in my free Clear and Activate pack. You can go to realityawareness.com, because ever since then, I've been working with them a lot, yeah? And so these beings, I mean, like, this stuff is real. Like, you know, what do they say? The Matrix is a documentary. Like when we really look into things, people think that we're crazy. And you know why they do that? Because it shatters reality as we know it. But as we walk forward over this eclipse coming up, and as we walk forward over the next 12 months, reality is going to change. You know how we're just sharing before, and we're like, time has changed? Time has changed. Sure, we create time. I always have enough time. Time works for me. I collapse timelines. We create time. I get it. But time has also changed. Over the next 12 months, reality is going to shift even more. It's going to feel different. Okay? And you have to understand that there's different realms and different things opening and closing and merging. And then we've got the nanotech having its own little thing. Like, you know, you guys, if you haven't experienced it, you'll be more conscious of it. When the electricity gets turned off in your suburb from a storm or from something and the power goes out, energetically as an empath, I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. It's like you can feel it when the power goes out, right? When you turn a device off, when you turn the Wi-Fi off, when you travel to somewhere where there's no reception, it feels different. Yeah, it feels different. Now, I think a lot of us are so used to the technological feelings and what that sort of feels like in our body and in our life, and we are customized to it. And the thing is that anybody can get used to anything. It doesn't mean that it's correct for that person's health and well-being. Yeah? Anybody can get used to anything. Anybody can train to do anything. It doesn't mean that it's correct and good for that person's health and well-being. Yeah? Always remember that. So when we turn off the electricity, when we turn off our devices, like, make sure, okay? Make sure that you are not sleeping with your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth and then listening to a meditation with the phone on your heart, for God's sake. Oh my God, come on. Do not have it next to your bed head and you're sleeping right here. Another thing to check is where your bed is against the wall. What is on the other side of the wall? Make sure the Wi-Fi box isn't there out in the lounge room or something. right? Check these things. Turn this off at nighttime. It's so important, guys, okay? Sure, you'll see when you like search the Wi-Fi's, you're probably going to pick up your neighbors, and down the road and you'll pick up 15 Wi-Fi's, okay? But if you can do it in your own house and really like, you know, be conscious of that, that's going to really support your health and well-being. Smart meters, exactly, right? Exactly. This sort of shit is like, it's for real. All right, let me go through these comments. So, and I just want to check, like, obviously you can ask questions, of course, but there's a lot of comments I'm going to go through. Won't be able to get to everybody, but I really hope this helped. So when you feel like somebody is watching you, so I guess like my reasoning of like telling you guys about the pixel portals and, you know, that feeling with the satellite watching stuff. I mean, like, are we ever going to really know what that is? Are we ever really going to find out the truth eventually? Maybe we do, right? Because for me, intuition comes over time. It can come over years of time. And I'm like, wow, that's why that pixel portal happened. Wow, that's why that happened. I see now, right? But it's not like I'm sitting there trying to figure it all out right now. You know, like, you know, when we are, you know, just doing our thing and we're learning how our intuition speaks and we're doing all the things that, you know, strengthen our bodies and all that sort of thing, like we start to get clear about all the pieces of everything that we just, you know, realize, and all the pieces of the puzzle come together. Little side note as well, you know that show Limitless? I think it's a movie, and then there was also a Netflix series, I think from memory, Limitless, and he takes the pill and he like has all this amazing, like sees all the numbers, and he's like so highly intelligent. Do you know, I watched that and I was like, that's fucking intuition. Take a pill for that shit, for fuck's sake. Like, for real? I'm like, that's what I see with my intuition. And so I watched the whole series. I'm like, that's intuition. Thinking like training people, they need a pill to be like, no. That's our intuition, guys. The Limitless guy is our freaking intuition. That's our intuition. Don't be fooled by the pills. Don't be fooled by the pills. Don't be fooled by the feels. Whatever, I don't know. Talking too long. Okay. I've even lost comments because I've been talking and explaining this, but I just wanted to share that last little bit. You know, and that's what I was saying, you know, are we ever going to find out the truth? Maybe, maybe, who knows what's coming up in the future, right? At the same time, like, you know, the best thing to figure out when you feel somebody or spirits or somebody's watching you, it's like tune into all these things. It's kind of like, okay, is there a device watching me? Cool, I need some time out. Is there a satellite there? Who are you? That's the shit we get locked up for or burnt at the stake for. We know the truth, right? And they do that to keep the rest of the population controlled. Want to burn me at stake again? Go right ahead. I'll come right back because I'm a witch, you know, like for real. All right, so, okay, so Vinny says, what would you say about laying in bed and having hands placed on shoulder and leg? Thank you so much for bringing this up. So when we actually feel somebody laying with us in bed, also, who the fuck are you? Get out. Unless you know who it is, okay? And then obviously you can choose to accept it or not. Really important to like, yeah, like you have to remember when you feel all these things, somebody in your house, like, you know, beings, AI, whatever the fuck it is, get out, please. We forget that we are the power, just like in our body. I'm overriding this shit, thank you. No, out. You wouldn't have a stranger just walking through your house. It's the same deal in the spirit world. Out. No, thank you. No, like, for example, mediumship. I do a lot of mediumship sessions with my clients. I teach mediumship, etc. Mediumship is communicating with a deceased loved one or a soul that has passed over and died, right? Died and passed over. And the soul comes back. There is, you know, like very, very early on in my training, you know, I put a boundary up with spirit. I was like, there's a lot of spirits walking around, okay? There's a lot of people want to communicate. I have a boundary and a rule that if a soul, a spirit wants to communicate like with me or needs help, they need to get their physical person to book in with me as a client, and then we do the work. If that doesn't happen, I've got work to do, right? You don't have to, you know, be everyone's everything, you know, like these are boundaries, just like you'd have a normal person walking through the house, okay? Same thing, so important to understand that. Okay, there is a satellite named Corona. Well, what a fucking surprise. Yeah. Yeah, a heavier energy letting you know it's there. And that's the thing, you can sort of feel the difference, or maybe you know the difference. Maybe you hear it as a sound, okay? This is again where you're trusting your intuition and understanding and knowing the language of how your intuition speaks to you, okay? So important. Okay, so I'm just reading through these comments now as we're going through. A couple months ago, a thing was walking on the power lines. I looked up and realized I saw it started to back away. I laughed and said, idiot. I saw it looked like some sort of gargoyle creature. Yeah, and these things are real. Again, like, you know, the fairies, the gnomes, the mermaids, like, they're all real. Like the unicorns, there's even the narwhals that are like still there in like physicality, like in reality. Physical reality is what I call it. You know, like these realms have just been shut out of our consciousness, but when we open up, they're still there. That's why there's no past, present, or future. It all exists simultaneously. You know, that's why all the traveling shows and Back to the Future and shit, like that shit's real. Like, because we're just trained from very young age in school what we're meant to know. Sorry, my daughter's gaming with her friends. Talking to her friends, if you can hear stuff. So I'm not a flat earther, okay? Let's be clear about that. I am also not a glober. I'm also like, show me the information for both, okay? Because both is very interesting to me. The thing that kind of got me even listening to flat earth stuff even more, like I said, I don't believe it, I don't believe this, I don't believe, like I'm just like, show me all this information because all of it's very interesting and I'm putting all my own pieces of the puzzle together. Flat earth, globe, scientist, not scientist, whatever the fuck, right? Do you know what's really interesting to me? The catch that made me open to listen to flat earth stuff more, right? Like I said, I'm not a flat earther, but the thing that made me open to even listening to it and having an open mind to it was the one little thing where they're like, in school, they teach us that it's a globe. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, they do too. Now, if you've watched the series The 100 on The 100, like The 100 on Netflix, it's in, I think, must be the last season from memory off the top of my head. They literally show like the baby farms in the like, you know, bubble genetic thing, whatever. And then they show how they take those little babies and they put them in school from like a really young age. Like, yeah, they train you into a system so that you are like their disciple or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? And so when, you know, whatever flat earth bit that I watched said that one little bit, they train us in school about the globe stuff. You know, and it had all this extra stuff. That wasn't the one line a sentence. Like, there was all this stuff. And I was like, wow. And that's what sort of caught me to open, to just listen more. Like I said, right, I'm just very neutral with things because I like to, you know, as an immersion learner, as a highly intuitive, creative being, I fully immerse myself in stuff. Like, I think I watched The 100 in a week whilst doing all my other normal work. Don't ask me how I did that. It's 8 seasons. Maybe it was 2 weeks, but you know, it's like I sit there and I immerse myself in something. That's how we're supposed to naturally learn, by the way. So when we're like put in school and we're like, okay, learn this for 5 minutes, then this subject, then this subject, then you're going to line up and then you're going to sit down and not move and eat, and then we're going to go back in and learn this subject and this like breaking the human spirit. Because as a soul and a human spirit, we're immersed, we fully immerse in something till we learn it, and then we're like, oh, don't need that anymore. That's our natural way of learning. You can even see the school system in the way that we're taught breaks us apart. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but anyway. We're doing things to change that. Okay. Yeah, so it is a tattoo. I've got, it's all real deal here stuff. I don't have fake stuff. I'm the real deal at Reality Awareness. They're all tattoos. I've done a specific live stream on my tattoos, so I won't go into them now. Send me a message and ask to watch my tattoo video, and I can send it to you, no worries. It's all real. I don't get fake stuff because what's the fucking point? I'm trying to give up coffee. People like, drink decaf. And I'm like, what's the fucking point? Like, if it's not real, I'm not interested. Pretty much. Yeah. It shatters reality as we know it. Truth, exactly. That's why so many, and even for me, I heard flat earth stuff for years and I'm just like, whatever. Right? Years. Didn't even look at it. But that one little thing, I was like, oh, that, and I'm really, you know how I am with the school systems and how they detriment the human spirit, right? our soul. Like, society is like it is because we're trained for 12 years longer, okay? Very strong feelings about it. If you can't tell. So when a flat earther had pointed out that's what we're trained in school, I was like, oh my fucking God, we are too. And it just made me listen more, made me open. Yeah? All right. Your information is being sold real time. I know, right? 100%. I learned a lot about marketing at the start of this year. Freaking put a lot of the pieces together. And I was just like, wow, hello to the new. Like, and this is the thing, it's been going on for years. What, since the 1950s or before? Even before there was television? Like, come on. The electricity meter behind my bed head is horrible. Please change your bed around. Oh my goodness. Please, please, please. Amanda says, that's me. I've now invested in an extension cord. No more meditations on my heart. Good. I will always use that example because I'm like, wow, no. Oh my God, your poor heart, right? Let alone what it's doing to the energy field. So yeah, so glad that you learned from that. Yeah, ringing in my ears, not sleeping there again. Exactly. So all these things, it's so important. Yeah. I've been doing that with my phone at night when I sleep, with meditation. I know, right? It's why it's so important. You know how we used to be able to buy iPods? I'm pretty sure they're still available. iPods, I think, would be awesome. I imagine they're, well, these days, I imagine they're all Bluetooth wireless stuff. But if you can get one that you can sort of switch off that's separate even to like the internet connection, if that's even a thing these days, just so much better for that, you know, even CDs. I mean, who has freaking CDs these days? I think my daughter was like, what's that? I'm like, man, I think you're only 12. Like, am I really that old? Anyway. Yeah, so where would I recommend to put the phone for meditations instead? Good question. Because I do it too, okay? Well, I listen to meditations. It's how I go to sleep. Well, not always, but so I make sure, number one, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is turned off. If you can have the actual MP3 saved on your, so I've got an iPhone, so on your iTunes playlist, okay, because you can listen to that offline. Yeah, so anything, or if you listen to YouTube meditations and stuff, there's YouTube, like you can, I think maybe it's only on premium, like if you pay for YouTube, which I do because I don't like listening to the ads, you can download videos to listen offline, okay? So just figure out best. So all my meditations that you sign up for and you either pay for or they're free, you either get emailed and or you have, you know, when you log into the member site, I purposely have all the MP3s that you can download to your device there for that exact reason, so that you can add them to your iTunes playlist, or you can add them to, I think it's called Files. There's a section called Files that if you download it directly to your device, there's a Files section. If you're not sure, you can just go in the search bar and type in Files. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not typing. You guys get the point, right? And there's a Files. I don't know if you can see it. So it's actually Files, and meditations come in there and you can actually organize them into files on your device, because I know not everybody's got a computer or a laptop that they can download them and then put them on and then plug it in and then update your library. Maybe you don't even have to do that anymore. It's been so long since I've done it. So find a way to download it to listen offline. So if I'm listening to something, I'm making sure that Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are off. If I can, I put it on airplane mode and then I just listen straight onto the device. So I think that's about as close as you're going to get to a iPod that's not connected to anything. Yeah? And these days we kind of do, yeah. So Natalie says, are people that do suffer from chronic illnesses more open to having and feeling this way? I would say definitely, because your system is weaker. Yeah. Medical medium is awesome, even for like the tinnitus, the ringing in the ear, which we're like, you know, yes, there's the angels talking to us. Ever since I heard medical medium stuff, I'm like, wow, I actually want to clean my body of viruses and then see if I still get the ringing in my ears, because that's the viruses, like the tinnitus, the virus, like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. So medical medium is awesome with his stuff. Like, it just makes total sense in my opinion. I've followed a lot of stuff over the years. So Josephine says, there's this movie on 9 now, Manifest, talks about these callings. Josephine's like, that's your intuition. Exactly, right? So they're trying to brainwash all this shit even now. It's like, man, it's just a fucking intuition. Like, come on. Come on. All right, so just scrolling through these comments here. What to do with finding a dead snake? I don't get a bad feeling, but ending of cycles, new beginnings, ending of entrapment and sabotage, definitely. Snakes, dead snakes, snakes in general, transformation, shedding of old reality, shedding of new skin, like old skin, birthing new, very much the Kundalini awakening, all of those things, yeah. Corey says, seriously, you're correct, Hannah, about getting locked up for knowing truths and more. Yeah, it's a freaking thing, yeah. It's definitely a thing. And I find that with the things that we're learning, there's a way to be in society that we don't get locked up, basically. Which, yeah, and it's not about hiding your true self and not being yourself, but there's just certain ways to be in society at certain times, yeah. All the right people being connected now. Yes, just my intuitive feeling. I've started following my instinct instead of my rational brain. My life has changed for the better. Yes, I love hearing that, Tony. That's so awesome. Silly question to the community. I'm not sure what that was. I know I'm way back in the comments, but I'm just scanning through. If I feel a bad energy, I say firmly, be gone, dark ones. I work for the light. Yes, yes. So I love that, Natalie. So anything that works for you. Like at the end of the day, your strong, commanding, get the fuck out, like voice, and your strong energy. Remember, it's not just your strong voice, it's your energy. No, right? This is good for empaths and people practicing their no. Get out. Like, are you of 100% light? Are you of 100% light? Are you of 100% light? Your voice, your tone, your energy, like, strong. Get the fuck out. Right? For real. Yes. Al says she's so intuitive. She answers questions like we had a conversation. Love it. Have chest pains, palpitations every night. Can it be my iPad? Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Definitely foods and stuff as well. Please, 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 please go and absorb yourself in medical medium. So Anthony William, absorb yourself in all of his stuff, because he talks about that sort of thing as well. But definitely, like, this stuff plays into it. If your body is not at 100% health capacity, which, you know, very rare people on the planet are, that it's going to affect, and it's, you know, if we are, you know, I don't know what the word is, like not of 100% health, like whatever, you get the point. We need to get rid of viruses, parasites, like all the different pieces in our body, which is like ripe through society, okay? And even through different foods, they get ingested and stuff, okay? So it's really important to, you know, regularly clean our body, not just once and think it's done. I mean, like we absorb the car fumes and stuff every day, you know what I mean? Like it should be a regular thing, just like we get our car service regularly, yeah? So yes, hopefully that helps with the chronic pain and that sort of thing as well. Susie says, I believe humanity was closer to spirit in the past. We are drifting further and further away by progressing in the physical world. Yeah, I want to say in the technological advancement as well. But there will always be people like you and me that will keep it alive for eternity, because that is just the way it is, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay, just going to scroll through the comments. I've got to jump off and get ready for my next client. Madeline says, this is me with your content after finding you in the last week or two. Yeah, absorb, like just immerse. Honestly, it's the best way with anything that you're interested in learning about. Like that is the thing, yeah. That's, you know, how a child should be supported. It's the basis for radical unschooling is the immersion learning, you know. It's like support whatever they're passionate about, because we know when we do that, we learn so fast, yeah. When we're like, oh, I have to turn up and do this assignment, I don't fucking want to do it. Like, I'm not interested. Like, we usually fail. Well, some people do, you know. Jacqueline says it's the same with doctors. The government provides them all with the same books and taught all the same things. Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Tarina was the same with the content. Tony says flat earth proof, tongue twister. Flat earth proof are true and accurate, although I'm not 100% sure of what this realm is, but I feel somehow it's the center of many dimensions. Yeah, I think there's many dimensions in general, for sure. I think we're just a part of the infinite nature of it, for sure. You're obsessed. It's good to be obsessed because we're just learning something in. Yeah, that's so interesting. Lacey, and you said the feeling of being watched is what saved my life. I'm a recovering addict, 4 years clean from methamphetamine. Well done, that's a huge achievement. I am in college, bought a car, got my permit, have a 2-year-old, and I own an apartment. The feeling I had someone watching me that only wanted to see me do good and be good helped me consciously make decisions. Yes. It can be for good or bad. And, you know, just a little side note, you know, when I did feel that out in the desert and I did feel that out in my garden, it didn't feel bad, you know, like, and we know when it feels bad, or like, we're like, who the fuck's this spirit here? Like, we sense it, whether it's good or bad, right? We don't want to hang out with the devils and stuff at the same time, right? Definitely don't teach that. Like, teach not to do that. We don't want to hang out with them, but there's nothing to be scared of. But we also can sense when, you know, there's the good, bad, right, wrong, etc. You do not friend your followers, is that correct? Yes, I do not. You can come and find me, Hannah Andrews. I think it's hannah.andrews, so HANNAH.andrews.359, I think. Please send me a message if you want me to confirm it. I don't friend you. You can come and friend request me, and most of the time I will accept, even if you send me a message and say, hey, let me in. But there is scammers going on at the moment. It's not just me. There's other tarot readers and everything I'm seeing getting hit really hard as well. Comes in waves. But yeah, I will definitely not go and do that. So yeah, it's just, please don't get scammed. Please don't get scammed. What are your thoughts on an earthing sheet to sleep on? I wish I had one. I would definitely use it if I had one. I've seen and heard them, people talk about them. I haven't got myself one yet. But yeah, if you've got it, I definitely would be using it for sure. Do you believe about remote neural monitoring? Fucking oath I do. It's a little bit scary, to be honest. Yeah, I do feel that. So no Bluetooth earbuds while meditating. I personally use, I need to buy new Bluetooth because they are helpful and handy when I'm multitasking and running around and cooking, and well, I have my stereo in, but it's still a Bluetooth little speaker thing, you know, like I'm surrounded by tech. Like I freaking love tech. I speak to you guys on tech, like, do you know what I mean? But I'm very conscious of how much I absorb, when I need to go to the ocean, when I need to go to a sauna, when I need to like do all those things to reset, right? I use these as much as possible. Even out on some live streams, these are even better absorbing, like stopping the wind. Some people are like, well, this is still tech. And I'm like, yeah, but it's better than Bluetooth in my opinion. So I use these while meditating. Definitely. I don't like using Bluetooth while I'm meditating at all, because I can feel it. You know what I mean? And when I'm meditating, we're opening, we're strengthening. I don't want that there. So when I am listening to a meditation, I'm definitely using these. Again, find what works for you. I mean, like I've got both. Well, I need to get more because they just weren't, I don't think they last long, actually. I've had a pair and it was like, you know, after not long of using them, they go flat and I'm like, oh, I need a new pair and I just haven't bought them yet because I'm like these. But I do enjoy technology. It is helpful. It helps me get work done a lot faster. I'm really powerful multitasker. So yeah, I wouldn't personally meditate with Bluetooth. But again, trust what works for you, right? Yes, lots of New Zealanders here. It's so awesome. They're trying to trick the ones who have woken and are awakening. I know, right? I know. They're like catching on. They're like, we need to infiltrate this. Anthony Williams, medical medium. Yes, it is. Yes, parasitic cleanse. Yeah, he's got awesome stuff. Like his stuff just makes so much sense to me. And like, oh my God. It's interesting because he did a live stream a while ago. He's done a few, I think. Like, I didn't call it this, but he's like debunking the myths of the healthy alternative food. And I was like, wow, is that why I got sick a couple of years ago? Because I was like eating all that stuff. And I'm just like, wow, this is like what he says just makes sense. And I'm like, vinegar vaporizes your organs. I'm like, oh my God, I wish to drink that shit out of the bottle. Huge wake up. And so on that infiltrating and tricking the woken ones, like if we look at that and the health food alternatives, oh, like it just blows my mind. I'm like, they're fucking onto it. They're onto it. And that's why we've got to trust our intuition, yeah? Got to learn a little science every time. Yes, I think don't block anything out. I think take all the information and decide intuitively what's right for you, for sure. The Great Awakening is coming. How and when, who knows? Exactly. Can't make it into the city lately. Yes. Is the Himalayan salt lamp behind you? If it is, I found out a while ago that they are toxic. See, this is interesting, isn't it? It is a Himalayan salt lamp, and I haven't found out about that. So I'm curious about that information. If you'd like to send that to me, I'm definitely open to reading all of this. At the end of the day, when we come back to it, it's like everything is just going straight back to pure nature and nothing infiltrating that at all, which makes a lot of sense. I'm really old school and prefer the headphones. Yes. Yeah, headphones. Like, I mean, like, I just use these. There's lots of headphones out there for sure. There's Bluetooth ones as well, but yeah. All right, I'm going to jump off and get ready for my next client. I shall see you guys really soon. Thank you for being here and listening. And if you're watching the replay, of course, let me know your thoughts. I know what we dived into is pretty deep and big on this live stream today. But really cool to talk about it and to remember to strengthen your intuition, trust your intuition, do all the things that remember to reset our energy frequency and strengthen, you know, and learn and understand the language of your intuition for sure. So trust your intuition starts doesn't start next week. The investment increases next week, and we start on the 22nd of the 2nd, 2022 next year. I was going to say next week. What's with this next week thing? So trust intuition investment increases next week. The link is in the comments there. Reconfiguring energetic codes. We are starting a couple of days after our total solar eclipse at the start of December. Reconfiguring energetic codes is our 2-week immersion where we literally go outside of Earth's laws and reconfigure our energy. It's a very powerful energetic upgrade. It shifts your frequency. It changes how you sense reality as well. It's very powerful for understanding that spatial awareness and the depth of where that travels to outside of Earth's laws and out of this dimension, if you may. So reconfiguring energetic codes, 2-week immersion. There's replays available. You can always catch them as well in the group, and all the details are on the link. If you've got any questions, send me a message, or I shall speak to you really soon. Keeping it real as always. Mwah. Love you guys.